Our region's business is sponsored by PNC Bank, solutions that help you achieve your goals in life. PNC, leading the way. And by Heffron Tillotson, a history of meticulous wealth management since 1948. Our region's business, innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, Pittsburgh's preparing to welcome the world in September when the G20 Summit convenes in our region. The leaders of the world's largest economies will be here to talk about the global recession and how to get things going. Although our regional economy has held up better than most, any recession is painful, and this one, of course, began with the American mortgage crisis that led to the global credit crunch. Chuck Sanders has been following it all the way along, even as he's been building a successful financial services business. He's founder and CEO of Urban Settlement Services based in Pittsburgh. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so you're in, I think they call it what, title appraisal vendor management industry, right? You're the back end of the whole mortgage process, right?
Absolutely. We provide the services that the banks need to do the loans, to do originations, to stop foreclosures.
Okay.
The real estate information.
So that's in the middle of a global credit crunch. That sounds like it's a challenging business to be in.
Absolutely. I mean, with the banks, as the banks go, we go. And our goal is to, if originations are down, we want to make sure we're helping, stop foreclosures. Banks don't want to have foreclosures on them. I can't say anyone didn't see this coming, but we didn't see it. No way to be this in depth, this crunching, that it would be so devastating from a standpoint from Wall Street to the national credit crunch.
Yeah, how it just became a ripple effect. What does it mean in terms of business? Now, we've been at it. The recession's been going on for over a year now, they tell us, and some economists are saying there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it may be ending. You're down there in sort of at the retail level dealing with real transactions. What are you seeing out there right now?
I mean, absolutely, things are down. I mean, we're starting to see, as the interest rates go down, we get a little bit more origination. The big thing right now is everyone's trying to stop the foreclosures. We just really can't afford it. I mean, that just affects neighborhoods down to, it affects the credit, it affects people's borrowing, it affects every business. I mean, and, you talk about why mortgages are, going into foreclosure. People are losing their jobs. I mean,
sure.
You're talking about major states. You're talking about when you talk about Florida.
And you're a national player.
Yeah, we're a national player. Yeah, we do work all over the country, and it's 3 or 4 major states. The Californias, the Michigans, and the Floridas. I mean, it really, because unemployment's down, it drags down the borrowing and the lending. So. It's tough right now, starting to pull out. A lot of people are saying, first quarter 10. I think that's very optimistic. I think most people agree third quarter 10 that we'll start seeing a recovery.
So we still got a good solid year, at least in your space, and that's
our
housing market,
in the housing market,
and whatever else. But you mentioned the foreclosures. Is that actually sort of become a growing business in light of the attention that's getting?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it has become for our company and companies that service the banks. Because remember, you have a bank like Citigroup laying off 40,000 people. Okay, who are going to be the people who process the work when the work starts coming back, or to stop these foreclosures? I mean, you see a lot of government programs coming from the FDIC, from the Treasury. And so they outsource a lot of that business to companies like mine. They come to us, ask us, can we do the loan modification programs for Fannie, for Freddie? Can we do the call centers? Can we do the reworking the loans, actually just taking the modification work, recording them? So actually, for my company, it's been a busy time because we seen it coming, and part of our strategy was start to prepare to do the work on the back end, which we call the back end, stopping foreclosures instead of originating loans.
Fascinating. And Pittsburgh our region really is a hotbed of these types of companies. The whole industry was really invented here by Bob Murphy years ago.
Absolutely. Right? My mentor in the business was a gentleman named Bob Murphy. Bob Murphy started Lender Service, and it's a real quick story. His buddy and his partner, George Stepetich, owned a bar next to the courthouse. Bob was a lending officer up on the hill, and he always needed information out of the courthouse. Well, a bar is open, no business during the day, but they're busy at night. So he said, hey, George, why don't you run across, pick up this information. I'll come at night and pick it all up. And that was the beginning of the whole vendor management, a multi-billion-dollar industry now.
Unbelievable. So you started
Two drinking buddies.
Yeah, and a lot of people know you from your Steelers career as well, but somehow you found your way from football to working for Bob Murphy and then ultimately going out on your own with Urban Settlement?
Yeah, any Pittsburgh person, any regional person knows the old Chuck Noll speech, get on with your life's work. So when he gave me that speech, luckily, I had graduated from Slippery Rock University. Definitely shout out to Slippery Rock University, great school. Had my degree in business, and I had been networking, and I met Mr. Murphy, and I asked him for a job, and I was working actually originally for the Piranhas, the CBA basketball team, and then one day the light went on. I said, you own golf courses, basketball teams, what do you do to make this money? That's what I want to do, and he gave me a shot, and I rose pretty fast to be his top salesman and top operations person for him.
Is that really great? So, and I have seen some of these companies seem to actually be hiring right now.
Yes.
So you guys are running a little counter to the overall employment statistics we're hearing.
Absolutely, and that's important for our region to know that. I mean, I can name at least 5 of the top vendor management companies in the country, because you can't be in this business and not service the entire country, these large banks, and they're in Pittsburgh and surrounding in this region. So as we adjusted and realized the origination business was going down, but we could help the banks stop foreclosures and to help with asset management and loss mitigation services. Now business is really picking back up for the area of vendor management companies, and we are hiring.
And there's thousands of those people that work in that industry.
Absolutely.
right here in our region. So you're doing work for all the big major banks, so people would be familiar
Yeah,
with it?
we were fortunate. We just recently won the RFP, request for proposal. We just won for Bank of America, which has bought up a lot of companies countrywide. We were first doing work for Countrywide. That's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a $300-400 million contract over the next 2-3 years. So providing a lot of jobs, and the majority, 80% of our jobs are right here in this region. And we really concentrate on hiring minorities from the inner city and bringing them in, because there's a lot of jobs that it doesn't take a tough entry barrier.
I was going to ask you, what do you have to work for you to get one of those entry-level jobs? What kind of skills do you
we have data entry people who have risen to managers, and we do look for people with title experience, but it can be taught. You can teach people to be an abstractor. It's public records how to go in and get that information. But we have contracts with now the government's involved. We are master service agreements with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Citizens Bank, PNC Bank. PNC we started with in the very beginning, so that's a local bank that's always supported us.
Sure. Well, great. Just a few seconds left, but it sounds like you're having a blast. Did you ever see yourself when you were playing football for the Steelers doing something like that?
It's a lot funner than football. You don't got my neighbor is Harrison, and I see him all the time. And I was like, I wouldn't want to have you tackle me. So every time I get in a meeting, I think, wow, this might be rough. I like this a lot better. It's been fun. One of my goals was to, we just got named to the Black Enterprise Top 100. And that's important, not because of our company, because Pittsburgh just really needs to be recognized for some of the great business companies that are here, especially some of the minority business enterprises.
That's terrific. Well, congratulations. What a terrific story on your second career. Chuck Sanders from Urban Settlement Services. Good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all you do in the region.
Next up, filling the employment pipeline with internships. Stay with us.